Coming up on this edition of PTR Radio, we talk zombie movies, zombies for real, political stories, Disney Adventure Park changes, our double feature patented movie review, and debt collectors seeking to ruin your cell phones. All that plus much, much more coming up in this episode of PTR Radio.
Here are your hosts. Your hosts for this evening. Shaggy.
Funny. Ha-ha. Not funny.
Colin.
It's going rogue left and right, man.
And Mike, the Ape Man.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
PTR Radio.
You ready to kick ass?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to PTR Radio here on the fabulous interweb. Trying out something a little bit different for the opening. Taking some lessons learned from the rest of the internet. Again, if you're interested, our website, ptrradio.com. As always, get in touch with the show through Twitter or Facebook, PTR Radio, both on there. And call into the show, 877-787-8822. We're ready to believe you. Borrowing from a famous movie. All right. As we said, lots of topics to cover. But first, let's do a little bit of catch-up. It has been a couple weeks since we've been on the air. Colin, what's been going on?
Vacation.
Vacation?
I'm just waiting for vacation.
Oh, you're waiting. I thought maybe, waiting for. Just eagerly anticipating?
I have a little I have grid paper.
Yeah.
I create a checklist. There's not many checks left to check.
All right. Well, that's always good.
I have not burned anything else down.
You haven't, but I tell you what, that is good. I'm glad you haven't burned anything else down. That was one of our most viewed pictures in the last couple weeks, was Colin's attempt at arson at his parents' house, burning the house down with a smoker. So if you haven't seen that, check out our Facebook page, because that is something amazing.
So I do have more updates for that.
Good.
So I was talking to the company that made the smoker.
Yeah.
Which was Masterbuilt.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to buy a smoker, buy Masterbuilt, as you'll learn. Because the original one did have a slight misalignment between the sheet metal on the inside and the outside, and so one of the vents wasn't sliding correctly.
Okay. And
so originally I was going, they asked me to send the top of the smoker back so that their quality control people could take a look at it and try to figure out what happened. Because apparently no one had ever seen this before.
Reasonable step.
So after I destroyed the smoker, but the top is still okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I emailed them back and say, okay, yes, I do have the original box, as you asked me, so I can send it back to you. However, due to my own stupidity, I've actually destroyed the bottom of the smoker, but the top's okay. I can still send it back to you if you want it.
Mm-hmm.
And their response was, no, they don't need it back. But if I want to buy another Masterbuilt smoker,
you have to sign a waiver first, saying you understand how fire works.
Then I could call them, because they have like this list of smokers they have too many in stock of.
Okay.
And they could give me a discount on one of those. Or if I just bought my own, then send the receipt to them, and they would send me back an accessory of my choice.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Rib racks, a cover, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I went ahead and bought, because I didn't want any old smoker. I wanted the same.
No, you don't want just any old smoker.
I wanted the same propane with thermostat thing.
I mean, if you're going to burn down your house, you have to have just the right kind of smoker.
So, but I did decide to get the slightly larger one.
Oh, of course, bigger fire.
So I got the new smoker.
Does this one require like a 100-pound propane tank,
no,
so that
propane.
you can do it right the first time?
But so I sent them the receipt from Amazon, because I bought this one from Amazon.
Yeah,
instead of Lowe's, and said, and I'll take a cover, because I had a cover for the old one, but the bigger one needs a bigger.
I thought you were going to say, but I burned it.
So I needed a cover for the bigger smoker.
Uh-huh.
They were happy to send it to me.
Yeah.
So 2 days later, I get a call from my dad, because I ship everything to my parents' house, because things that get shipped to my house tend to disappear.
Yeah.
Also, most of my good stuff is at my parents' house. my TV, my Xbox, etc. So I get a call from my dad going, did you buy another smoker?
Oh, no.
So, yeah, another smoker was delivered along with the cover.
Boy, they really either like you or don't like you.
So it was a different smoker. It's just
Okay.
It's just a regular propane smoker, not
Okay.
the thermostat. So I emailed it back saying the cover's great. It does fit. Even goes over the propane tank because they didn't make a cover specifically for my smoker yet.
Yeah,
because it's too new. They said if anything's wrong with this cover, let them know. Then give me something else instead.
yeah.
So I emailed back and I said, yeah, the cover works great. Even goes over the propane tank. However, I was surprised to find the cover accompanied by a 30-inch propane smoker. To which I get the reply back, well, so they checked the original order, and she didn't make the mistake of accidentally sending me a smoker. They asked for a copy of the shipping label so they could make sure that it wasn't supposed to be somebody else's smoker that somehow got accidentally delivered to me. And I looked at the shipping label. The shipping label says that the smoker weighs 1.78 pounds. So apparently it was a second label for a cover that somehow got stuck to a smoker. And then they told me that because the smoker has already been shipped out, if they had me send it back to them, they would only have to scrap it for parts anyway.
Okay.
So free smoker
Free smoker.
or brother-in-law's free smoker.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, if you need a place to offload the smoker, I can supply a place to put the smoker. I can always use a smoker.
He took it for its maiden smoke yesterday. Was very happy, but
smoke.
I don't personally need two smokers. I already have one burnt smoker and one working smoker.
I think in the biz they call that charred. Maybe you have a smoker with a great bark on it. How about that? You know,
it's a smoker we're going to deliver to my brother-in-law's alley because anything like that in an alley disappears within seconds.
Now another thing. Now, we're not going to do the update on this now, but maybe during the second hour. I want you, because it really makes sense that family read this. Mm-hmm. I want you to go through some of the recent Griffinisms.
Okay.
Because I have been highly entertained, and it's been a long time since our listeners have gotten an update on Griffin.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be awesome.
The world's most mature child. So, Mike, I know you and I see your likes. You see mine. I'm infatuated with the kid. So, it's great, and I want to hear. I'm sure the listeners want to hear all about it. So maybe second hour we can break out a couple of those.
He is going to Universal Studios soon, so we'll have comments about that too.
Yeah, that's great. Mike, how about you? What's going on in New Jersey?
Well, so yes, this past weekend was the weekend from hell, a.k.a. the annual prep of the backyard. Power washing the decks, scrubbing the decks. They've been neglected for a couple of years. My back is killing me. Shoulders are killing me. I hate my backyard, though I will fully enjoy my backyard later.
I think I know what that means. Does that mean...
No.
No? It's not tiki time?
It's not tiki time.
Ah.
We did not have tiki last year for various reasons, and we're not sure if we're going to have tiki in the traditional sense anymore. But it was a good effort. Then yesterday, everything's winding down, and my wife calls me out to the front of the garage, and there are two baby field mice. And by baby, I mean eyes are not even open yet. I literally sat on the ground and looked up at the sky and said, "Why, God?"
I thought
Why?
maybe you were wishing for a hawk to come down.
Oh, not while we were standing there.
Okay.
No. I was traumatized. I'm still traumatized from seeing the near miss of the hawk trying to get a bunny.
I'll get to this in my update, but I was at I was doing my thing and out of town, and I was in a hotel, and there was nothing on, so I was watching The Proposal I don't know if you guys remember that movie, Ryan Reynolds film. But at one point...
It's the morning. Yes.
At one point, an eagle comes and picks up a dog.
Yes. So, we put... my wife is trying to give I mix up a half-strength batch of G2, which is light Gatorade. So really, it's like quarter-strength Gatorade. She's trying to give these little mice electrolytes. Put them in a little box. Put the box down in the garage. And this morning, they're gone. Mama Mouse came and moved them.
Brondo has electrolytes. It's got what field mice crave.
Yeah, so today, Mouse is back. Tim gets home, Mouse is gone. Then just before the show, Mouse is back. This is not funny anymore.
Well,
in the least.
If it makes you feel any good, any better, there's a debate on whether in the backyard we have a chipmunk or a ground squirrel. So, you know.
What's a ground squirrel?
I don't know.
Compared to a regular squirrel.
But we have a call. Hold on. Hello, you're on with PTR. Hello. Hello. That was on my regular number anyway, most likely a telemarketer, and that was just going to be fun.
Okay.
So
now I have set up a trail cam in the garage to watch the mouse. So if the mouse disappears, we can see whether the mama is taking them into the garage or bringing them out of the garage. But this. Really?
So you're saying that there may be more additions to the menagerie?
Oh, hell no.
Field mice?
Hell no.
So, do these animals in your backyard?
Yes.
Do they have stripes on their heads?
I don't know. I'd see them for the split second I saw it for the split second when it was going from the gutter extension tube to underneath the deck, running like hell away from the dog.
I'm going to say it's almost definitely a ground squirrel.
Yeah.
Because chipmunks aren't really that
common.
All
I know is it wasn't singing any song, and there wasn't anyone named David looking for it. So I'm going to assume ground squirrel. So, but anything else, Mike? You know, other than your new pets, new mice,
they're not
mice friends.
They are not pets. They are not pets. Let's make that perfectly clear.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. Since the last show, anything else?
I got to say, your thing about the Wildcat was one of the funniest things I've seen you do.
Oh yeah, well. For those who don't know what Colin is speaking of, that means you don't follow me on Facebook, and that's your problem. But in New Jersey, a family got trapped in the bathroom of their house because a wildcat got in. I forget what kind it was. And trapped them in their house. And I shared it, and I said, that would not happen here at Butterstown. We would not be trapped in the bathroom because my wife would be running around trying to hug it and scream, "Come here, let me love you, damn it! Come here!" like she does to some of the cats here and at the shelter. She picks up a couple of the cats, and the cats are like, "Ah," and she's like, "Shut up, let me love you."
Yeah, I mean, you know, we all know the type.
Look at that squirrely. Now I have a cute little squirrely really do pet and love and cherish and squeeze.
Yeah, like that. So, but no, I mean,
I'm trying to think. I know other stuff has happened, but I don't remember of anything of significance worth bringing to the show. So, Shaggy, what has happened with you?
Well, I had a big. For those of you that follow our Instagram, you may have seen I had a big outing, 3-day conference that I had to do. I did the AV for it, and let me tell you, that sucked. It looks great in pictures, don't get me wrong, but I have never been so nervous and stressed out in all my life, because what I was doing was for the Lutheran Church, and they had a bishop selection. So every little thing gets nitpicked, and things that wouldn't have been a big deal become huge issues. All right? And we had never been to this venue before, and they're not in-house AV, but they're normal contractual AV. I don't know if I told, did we play the price game on how much this was going to cost them if they didn't go through me and they went through the regular people?
No.
No, I don't think we did.
All right, well, we got a quote just for the main hall for the 2 screens, 2 projectors, and a couple of spotlights for the stage. So 2 screens, 2 projectors, and a couple of spotlights. How much do you think that equipment alone, now granted, there's a ton more stuff that we had to do. How much do you think just those 6 pieces of equipment would have cost for 3 days through the regular vendor that the convention center goes through?
12?
1,200?
No.
12,000?
Yeah.
Mike, what do you think?
I was going to say 15,000.
Mike, you are absolutely correct. It was like 15,600, which is ridiculous in my world.
I was going for $1,000 per piece of equipment per day.
Yeah, it was absolutely astonishingly ridiculous. So they asked me, of course, to then deal with everything, which is fine. I don't mind making more money, but I'm making it at everything I did for them. The screens, the projectors, the spotlights, the breakout rooms, the audio, because there was no audio in this hall either. All of that was less than the quote that we got for those 6 pieces of equipment. So, was there a whole lot of meat left on the bone? No. Was it a good experience to do? Yes. But I've already told them, hey, listen, I don't want to do that in this venue ever again. Because it sucked. And not only that, but when I was told, hey, it's a bishop selection, I was also told, oh, don't worry, we think it's going to go pretty quick. There's 4 different rounds of the election, but if somebody gets elected the first time, then they throw away the other 3. And they were thinking that the person that was already in would just get voted back in because he hadn't done anything really bad. Everybody liked him. So we thought. They went through every round of the election. Talk about stressful. It'd be like electing the Pope. All right? That's how bad. This thing stretched on for 3 days.
Now the question is, was the result what they expected in the beginning, or did it not?
It was a lot closer at that last vote than anybody ever thought it would be. But it did turn out that the sitting bishop was reelected. Which is cool. I like the guy, and that's who I go through for a lot of the arrangements and stuff. So, I mean, did I kind of have a dog in the fight? Well, yeah, I guess I did, because, I want to keep the guy I already know and I'm working with, but it just went on a lot longer than anybody ever thought it would. And what was really strange was, so here's the way the process works. All right? They do the first vote, and it is a paper ballot. You can either choose from the guy who is already there, or you can write in a candidate. All right? Now, from that vote, if you choose, anyone that is either written in or selected has to have 70% of the vote to win. That's how they do it. All right? If one person doesn't have 70% of the vote, then they take the top 7. All right? The top 7 people, and they then start this runoff process.
Uh-huh.
All right? So they announce the top 7, and then they say, okay, you have now 5 hours from right now to withdraw. If you were nominated and you didn't want to be, or you don't think you want to go in, whatever. All right? And to pull 7 people out of that list, like one of the 7 only got 3 votes. So that tells you that there wasn't a huge pool here to begin with.
Yeah.
All right? Now, 2 of the people in the 7, because all of them then have to do bio sheets and then do a little small presentation about how they would be at Bishop, what their plans would be. None of them had a clue because none of them were expecting to be nominated. According to them, 2 of them gave a speech saying, listen, I'm only here because I didn't make it the deadline to withdraw my name. And one of those guys made it all the way through to the one-on-one runoff at the end. Because they progressively got, the pool got smaller and smaller and smaller. It was 7, then it was 5, then it was 3, then it was just the bottom 2.
Yeah. At that point, you're
So a guy who said, I didn't even want the job, I just didn't do the paperwork, almost was the bishop.
Oh, Lord.
All right? Now, that was... So, you can imagine, when there was a little bit of feedback from the monitors, that people were a little testy. You know? So, that was... But, I mean, if you look at the pictures, that's, you know, that you can see kind of what I did. That was a lot of what I did. You know, so that was a ton of my time. And then it was putting everything back together here.
I'm sure that the confidence stand worked well.
Mm-hmm.
But that picture just made me... I got the shivers every time I looked at it. I'm sure it was very sturdy, but the angle you took the picture at...
Yeah.
Just made... I was like, oh, my God. It deceptively was... It looked unstable.
Oh, no, it was super stable. That was just the picture then, you know, not showing what it really was. Because it was rock solid. And that was
I'm sure.
The second version of the confidence monitor stand. I did build one. I ended up building 2 because the first one I built was too small, and it was not going to work. So, in fact, that confidence monitor that you're looking at there in that picture, that's what's hanging on the wall, and we're looking at you on right now, Mike. That's our new studio television.
So, I have a question.
Yep.
The Instagram for PTR Radio.
Yep.
Where would anybody find such a thing?
Well, it's not on our website.
Yeah.
But all you have to do is look for PTR Radio on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
We made it super simple to find. All you have to do is PTR Radio because, well, there's not that many. Funny enough, Political Talk Radio doesn't have an Instagram account, so we didn't have to compete with them there.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, and Instagram's one of those weird things where you can really only look at it on your phone. And you can only upload from your phone. In addition to that, we did get, in addition to that thing on the to the studio, we also got another little toy. And Mike, I know you got the VR headset, didn't you?
Yes.
What do you think?
I have only messed around with it once.
Oh.
Trippy as hell.
Oh, I love mine. I absolutely love mine.
I was kicking myself because since I've gotten it, there have been 2 Netflix shows that I have been released, the new seasons. That's House of Cards and Orange is the New Black. And I didn't watch either one on the VR headset.
Yeah. I haven't watched.
I've thought about possibly... maybe I'll try it for the next review. Now, the one thing that I did notice was I could not get mine to focus. And I don't know if it's just my eyes or my screen was not clean or what, but I could not get mine to completely focus.
I didn't have a problem with mine. You know, and I had to take my contacts out at one point and put my glasses on, just because my eyes were bugging me for another reason. And, you know, I didn't have any problem both with contacts, without contacts, getting mine to focus. But, you know, it could just be, you know, my eyes are horrible. So getting it, you know, an inch from your face and then focusing is not a big deal for me. I don't know. But, you know, I have played it quite a bit. And to tell you what, other than the strap, sometimes I have to get it kind of tight to stay on. There's no eye strain or anything there. You know, sometimes I do, you know, because like I said, the strap is a little tight, so that causes an issue. But I think it's a lot of fun. I did a couple of roller coasters on it, which were ridiculous. When they tell you when you put on the VR headset, sit down, they are not kidding. I don't know how anybody could stand up and be on one of those things.
You can stand up with one of the real VR headsets because they run at a much higher frame rate. and have much better motion sensors in them.
Well, this is just because on like the roller coaster ride, for example, you're moving all around and you're in it, and I could feel myself, my body shifting because my brain was tricking it, going, "Hey, you're on this thing."
I'm just saying with the Oculus
Rift,
those you're supposed to stand.
Yeah, and I mean for like the Facebook stuff like that, you can stand and you can look around, and I don't have a problem with that. But when you're playing one of these games or you're on the roller coaster or something like that, you want to be sitting down.
Yeah.
You don't want to be standing up because you're going to either run into something or you're going to fall. But I thought that they were great.
Well, yeah, and the intro actually was really cool.
Yeah.
But I did notice that despite my thoughts, I was not facing the same direction I was when I put them on.
Yeah.
So
you totally get moved around. Yeah, I like to sit in my office chair, pushed a little bit away from the desk. That way I have free movement.
Which is what I did. But here's my other question, though. When you got the bundle of extras, right? You can pick either the gaming or the entertainment.
Right, yeah.
Apps. Which one did you pick?
I picked the entertainment one because I don't really...
Okay.
I wasn't doing a whole lot of gaming.
When I picked the entertainment one of the things in there was the Hunger Games movie. And that never installed in my library.
Huh. I had to go out and do a lot of manual stuff that I didn't think I was going to have to do. I will say that process was not the easiest in the world.
I mean, I honestly, I think that this is going to wind up being almost... I think they gave away these things to keep it from going the route of 3D televisions.
Well, they might have. I will tell you, one of the games I absolutely love, and I wish there were more levels of, is one called Land's End. And it's not the clothing manufacturer. It's a cool little, it is a fully immersive game. You're in, and it came in the entertainment pack. So I think you have it. If not, I think it's even a free game. But
I probably do,
but there's only 5 levels of it. But it's really neat because they you land in this spot, and then these little pearls show up. You have to you don't have to use the controller at all. You stare at the pearl for a couple seconds, and then it moves you towards that pearl. Okay, and then you look around, you find another one, you stare at that, and then you move towards that. And you're walking your way through kind of a maze, and then eventually you hit a wall or a block or something where you can't get past it, and you have to solve these little puzzles, and you have to play connect the dots with this light bar basically. But the way you connect the dots is you stare at them for a couple seconds with your eyes, and then using your eyes you draw it to the next dot and the next one and the next one to do little patterns, and they get increasingly more difficult to figure out how you have to draw this because they can't intersect. And then sometimes you can't make a line too long before it hits another dot. So you have to then move a boulder, which is these boulders, some of them have little 4-way crosses on them, right? Arrows in each direction. You stare at that spot, then you raise your head while staring at that spot. Moving it with your mind is what you're doing. You're moving a boulder with your mind. And you have to float it over to where it needs to be and drop it down. It sounds really childish, but if you play this thing, you'll understand what I'm talking about. It feels incredible.
I'm going to have to mess around with it. I got a couple of hours before I got to make my public appearance tomorrow. Maybe I'll give it a shot tomorrow.
And I will tell you, I couldn't resist. I had to go out there and find if there was any adult material in VR. Because the rest of the rest of the world is doing the same thing. All right, you can't lie to me and say the majority of the people out there that bought this didn't look to see if there was any. All right, because I'll tell you what, if I'm the only person that looked for it, they're making an awful lot of it just for me. All right, because there's a ton of it, and it's different. It is a different experience, and I can see when they were talking before in Star Trek about holo addiction, how it could happen.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
That was the thing. Like, I started messing with it, and you lose track of time very easily.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's not like you're watching a movie on your computer and you can look up at the clock, or you have the clock down in the corner. There's no clock when you're just exploring.
No, I
Next thing I know, it's 90 minutes, and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, no, I was playing these games with my headphones on, and I'm like, I'm not in my office anymore. I am wherever this game put me. It's total immersion.
Well, that was going to be my next thing. Is you gotta wear headphones with it.
Yeah, but what I found was I actually had to get a little extension for my headphones so that I could do wired headphones while the thing was in the VR thing, because my headphone jack is too thick, and so it wasn't... I was just using the earbuds that came with the I don't like earbuds. I had no problem. I don't like earbuds, so I was using these.
Typically I don't either, but these are actually pretty comfortable, and I'm surprised because normally I don't like the ones that have the little bulb on them, but these
my daughter loves those. I gave them to my daughter, and she loves them. So good job packaging a decent pair of earbuds that I hate, but somebody else likes.
Back when you said something earlier, Mike. There's a huge difference between 3D TVs and the VR stuff, and that is there's a bunch of real stuff, people doing the jobs, which is going to require the VR more and more. So, unlike 3D TVs, which don't really work that well and don't have any real practical purpose.
Well, immediately my thought was, this is like, I'm wearing this thing and I'm like, this is what those first-person drone pilots and like the drone racers wear.
I would think so. I'm just waiting for them to break out the Super Nintendo Power Glove type action, one for each hand, where I can then wear those. The camera from the camera from the phone will pick up that action, and then I can be interactive with whatever's going on in my virtual world with my real hands.
They don't do it with the Power Glove thing because that doesn't work. But the real VR controllers, with a full real 3D goggle set, you can do just that.
Yes, but I want my hands. I want Lawnmower Man, manipulation level.
That's already been proven that it doesn't work.
Well, but we can get close to that though with like things like the Wii and the Xbox Kinect.
That's what has proven that it doesn't work.
What do you mean it doesn't work? Well, people are playing it.
Because buttons are better.
I know, but here's what I want to do, and I've talked about it before. Mm-hmm. I want to do database designs with my hands. I want Jarvis, all right? I want to be able to wave my arms in the hand and throw stuff away.
The only way that works is to have full VR, and then the full VR could just create the database for you.
Well,
then you don't have a job.
Mike does have a new toy. Mike got his fidget spinner in, didn't
he? My fidget spinner from China arrived.
Oh, don't put that in your mouth. You'll die. So how is it? Are you using it all the time now?
No, it sits on my desk taking up space.
Yeah, I found the fidget spinners. That one looks better. I had a cheap one. And
this was $1, Colin. How much cheaper do you want it?
No. I mean, it when you held it between your fingers, you couldn't spin it because it kept hitting my thumb. And I was like, this is useless. Now my fidget cube, that gets constant use.
There's a new thing out that I think is a recipe for disaster that I saw somebody selling, and let me see if I can find it. It's a fidget roller. Let's see here if I can bring this up. Mike, have you seen this?
No.
Yeah, it's really weird. All I can tell is it's like a small little rolling pin, essentially. That you then can rock your hand back and forth, on the countertop, or you can tumble it over, And I'm like, all right, this is just going to make noise.
Yeah, more of that's going to hit something.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what. Now are they just making stuff up?
It's the Wii all over again.
And half of these fidget spinner designs look dangerous. Like, Mike, yours doesn't look too bad because it's a traditional, like, rounded triangle-looking thing. But, like,
I've seen ones that look like the throwing bats from Batman.
Like this one. All right? That's going to hurt something. All right? I don't need a ship's wheel fidget spinner.
No, that one's actually kind of cool.
But,
the ones that look like Chinese throwing stars.
Yeah. And they have, like that one.
Yeah, see, that's a little...
We don't need those. Or these. We don't need those. So, yeah, we don't need any... But you're talking...
Go back up.
Yep.
Is there a chicken?
A chicken. That is a... Well, yeah, but that's... So you're squeezing the egg out of the chicken's butt. That's your stress relief. That's horrible.
That's taking a 1970s toy and piggybacking on the whole fidget thing.
So here's one of the bat-shaped, because we can't say Batman, bat-shaped fidget spinners.
Yeah, it's even upside down.
Yeah. Well, in the picture.
So that the visuals won't pick up on it.
Yeah, so there's all... they went crazy, and like we said in the last show, it's sad that the person that invented the thing isn't getting any money.
Well, the person who invented the first one, the fidget cube, it looks that... You got some fake ones there.
Yeah, there's some great fake ones. They're not making any money either.
I bought a fake one from Woot. It was this giant, like, hexagon.
Yeah.
And it was like, this is crap. I meant to bring them in. I'll bring them in next time.
They had fidget cubes next to the chewing gum at checkout in Walmart last time I was there.
Real one or fake one?
Fake ones, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Walmart, and somebody came up and asked one of the Walmart folks, where do you guys keep those fidget toys at? And she's like, it's by the as seen on TV aisle up front. Oh, man, I'll tell you what. Walmart is I hate Walmart. Most of the time, I hate Walmart. Yeah. Most of the time, I hate making a trip to Walmart because most of the time, it's always for the wife for something that she forgot. And when I'm walking, after she's already given me the 2 or 3 things that she forgot, I'm walking into Walmart going, okay, great. Okay, so I got to get milk, I got to get eggs, and I got to get butter. Perfect. All right. I can go through self-check. I'll be in and out here in like 15 minutes. Not a problem. Then she sends me a text. Hey, buy a bottle of wine. Oh. I'm like, son of a... I can't go through self-check with liquor. I'm like, that just added 30 minutes.
What? That reminds me one of my new favorite things.
What?
The click and buy app for Sam's Club.
Yeah.
Have you used that thing?
I haven't. I've heard of it, though.
Yeah, you just walk through Sam's, you pick stuff up, put it in your cart, scan it with your phone, and then you walk out. It's great. You push the purchase button. When you walk out and they have the person there standing, you show them your phone, and they say the receipt. They actually are supposed to scan it. The 2 times I've done this so far, the scanner didn't work.
Well, it's just...
So they just look at the phone and go, 5 items in the cart? Okay, there you go.
Now, do they limit how many items you can do that with? Because,
No.
I've walked out of there with a cart full of stuff, and I'm like, there's no way she's counted 78 items. She just took her little marker and went...
They probably want to make sure that it actually scans correctly, but there's no limit.
I mean...
Well, okay. As someone who has worked the front door at BJ's Wholesale Club, you look at the receipt. If it's a small number of items, you can check, but there are specific types of items that you look for. Obviously, anything on the bottom of the cart, you make sure
that it was rung up.
Was rung up. Tires, back when BJ's was self-serve with the tires, make sure that the tire size and style match what is on the receipt.
How about caskets? Did BJ sell caskets, or was that just Costco?
That was just Costco.
Okay.
BJ's was smart, and a lot of those things they did sell, but they sold them online only.
Okay.
How about shoes? Were you supposed to check the size of the shoes?
At the time, BJ's didn't actually sell shoes.
All right.
They sold clothes, but not shoes.
All right. Well, we're 45 minutes into the first hour, and we haven't covered a thing I said we were going to talk about. So
let's hit that last one because we always kind of try to do a single politics in the first
all right.
hour.
Single politics recommended by Colin.
And this one is a takeoff of last time.
Covfefe.
Yes.
So there is a Covfefe, which, by the way, I don't know if it's related to this or not, but did you see that there are people suing the federal government over Trump blocking them on Twitter?
No, I did not see that.
Yes. They say because Trump uses his personal Twitter as a means to get official press releases out, he is not allowed to block anyone because that is blocking their right to publicly available information.
Well, you see, back with Obama, they weren't 100% sure if social media was considered part of the actual and official records.
And according to, I don't know if it was Spicer or not, because he's been like MIA a little bit here.
Yes, it was Spicer.
It was Spicer who said Trump's tweets are taken as White House press announcements. You should take them as
How does he still have a job?
I don't know.
So, one of our representatives here from Illinois.
There has to be like a pool on how long before he's gone.
Yeah, Mike Quigley decided to make it official that the social media stuff from the president is official records, and those records have to be kept. And so he introduced a new law called the Communications Over Various Feeds Electronically for Engagement Act.
The Covfefe.
It's the Covfefe Act.
Okay.
Now I will tell you, it's not unheard of because, like, in the government here at the state level, any official press release that goes out to news organizations must be indexed and copied to the state librarian who records it as official record. And so every single thing is recorded on file.
Okay. If emails are official record, and they could be basically considered digital communication, then I could understand that Twitter is as well. But my question is more, should the president be using the POTUS Twitter?
That's a huge thing going on. Twitter made a whole bunch of they did a whole bunch of work so that POTUS could be archived off each administration and rolled into the next person.
Right.
And Trump seems not to care about the POTUS Twitter handle, instead sending almost everything through the real Donald Trump handle instead.
Well, yes. Usually what he does is he sends it from his, and then he retweets it from POTUS, or some staff member.
Some staff member does. Because he's not going to he's going to tweet from the toilet. He's not going to retweet from the toilet.
Unless he's retweeting other people.
But we did have one day without very many Trump tweets. You guys remember that day?
Yes.
It was a glorious day.
The day, and a lot of people were mad that there were no Trump tweets. Why? Because they were going to get a free drink every time Trump tweeted during Comey's testimony.
Yeah, but don't worry, because Trump Jr. made up for it.
They took Trump and they put him on a golf course with
no cell signal. They sent CIA, FBI, NSA agents to every tower in a 50-mile radius and said, "Turn those sons of bitches off."
Drones flying overhead with EMPs.
Yes, I saw a great meme the other day. Because everybody still wants Trump to release his taxes. It says, "Release Trump's golf scores."
Man, listen, I got to tell you something. This, from what I heard and what I've read, the outrage about what Comey testified. Look, he's in a no-win situation. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
No matter what Comey said, truth, not truth, whatever, it don't matter because people are going to believe whatever they want to believe. If they wanted to believe that Comey could have came out with all the evidence in the world to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that Russia had nothing to do with anything. Comey's lying. Comey was bought and paid for. It don't freaking matter.
Yeah. I agree.
I mean,
I knew somebody had to have done that.
Nobody is going to believe nothing anymore. They're going to believe what they want to believe. There's no such thing as fake news anymore because the news is only what you want to believe in your head.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
F all these people.
And for those of you that are thinking we're being hard on Trump, all right?
No, we're being hard on everybody.
Yeah. If it was a Democrat in power and this was happening to them, we would be just as critical of them. So don't.
No, but Mike was just talking about no matter what side they're on, and no matter what Comey said, they're going to believe whatever they wanted to believe.
They're going to twist it for their ends.
Yes.
I mean, Trump came out and said, listen, according to Comey, I'm free and clear. I didn't do anything wrong. And then you listen to the other side, and they go, look, according to Comey, we should just go get the bastard right now. So, and it was the same words. It's just how you want to interpret them. You can put a slant on anything that you want.
Yes.
So,
That's why, that's one of the principles that made Thank You for Smoking such a great movie. Okay, and if you haven't seen it, I recommend you go see it. Because Nick Naylor, the main character, played by Aaron Eckhart, he says at one point, the best thing about debate is I don't have to prove I'm right. I just have to prove you're wrong.
Yeah. I mean,
And you tell me why chocolate is better than vanilla. All I have to do is make you doubt yourself. And guess what? You prove I'm right.
Yeah. I mean, here's a perfect example. Here's a perfect cartoon for those of you that look like this in cartoon form. All right? It's perfect. It explains everything perfectly. Depending upon which side you're on, you're going to see different things. So,
One of my dad's favorite jokes, Mike, was the scientific study that came out that showed that drinking saliva causes cancer, but only drunk in small amounts over a large period of time.
Yeah, well, yeah, there was a study that just came out that said even drinking one glass of beer or wine a day is hazardous towards your mental health. Which goes against everything that we know, which is everything that we previously know, saying, hey, a glass of wine a day is good for you.
Well, look at France.
They have a pretty long. There's a good longevity of life in France. They live to be pretty damn old. So.
Yes, but I wouldn't call them mentally.
Wow.
They live to be old because they hold their cigarettes like this. This way all the cancer material goes away from them. Instead of like this. So it goes in your hand, you absorb the cancer.
I'll decide. I said that just as a joke, but it really has no basis in facts. Let's move on.
So, but no, yeah, there's this lawsuit against him because he blocked several people on Twitter, and they're saying, listen, you can't do that. When you're the president, you don't get to pick and choose who can see your stuff.
Yes.
And so it'll end up going up to the damn the Supreme Court's going to have to rule on more crap than they ever had to before. All right, because I guess another court knocked down his second version of the ban, of the travel ban.
I am waiting to see what Trump's response is to the vote that happened in Puerto Rico.
That vote's messed up.
Which one was that? I guess I'm out of the loop on this one.
They voted for statehood.
Well,
so now it's got to go to. Well, yeah, it was the lowest turnout of any election that they've had on record in recent history. But the vote was for statehood.
Like 98% or something.
Now,
Like
yeah.
Okay,
But, so now it's got to go to Congress, and Congress has to decide if Puerto Rico is going to become the 51st state.
See, now I
They are in debt worse than Greece, for Christ's sakes. Okay, you could buy them for $2 and a pack of smokes.
I guess I am so cynical about everything that I see on Facebook that certain people post that I just naturally assumed when I saw a post that said, don't let your legislators create a 51st state and inherit more problems, knock down the snowflake liberals' agenda by saying no to this initiative. I just assumed that it was more Alex Jones conspiracy theory crap that had no basis in reality.
No, Puerto Rico is like $3.8 billion in debt, I think. The country
You're talking
is
to
broke.
two people from Illinois.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get in line. Come on, you're not even close. For God's sakes, can't you get a pension system?
The
They probably at least have a budget.
The residents are citizens, but they can't vote, which makes me wonder why Hillary wasn't pushing for this, because, well, I will make you a state, and then you vote for me.
Oh, God. They're only $70 billion in the hole, according to this recent poll.
$70 billion.
$70 billion. Ha!
So
Don't even bother complaining till you're at least $200 billion in the hole.
But this is it's like a fire sale here. Like, if we become state, then but supposedly not being a state caused this financial crisis because they don't get all the benefits of statehood and citizenship. I don't know.
I don't know. They've always been a territory.
But the question is, what's the flag going to look like?
Well, it'll be an American flag, damn it.
But now we got to change the flag.
Oh, what's our flag going to look like? We'll put a gold star. We'll put a little gold star next to all the other ones.
Which, would be kind of cool. But could you just imagine Trump? If this happens during a Trump presidency, what the debate for the design for the new flag is going to be?
Well, you know what?
Oh my God!
Just a second, we could actually I found an article.
If Obama was still in the White House and this was happening, he would just talk to his buddy Trudeau and say, because have you seen those pictures? Those guys look great together. They look like long lost buddies. He would just talk to his buddy Trudeau and say, hey, pal, can we just go ahead and take, Canada, and then we'll have even more stars. Our flag will be nothing but stars.
Okay, so this article that Colin just shared,
which I am.
That is no.
But there's actually 11 different flags in this article.
Oh, okay, so here is. Let me grab that again so that we can go through them then. All right, so here is.
No.
All right, so here is flag choice number 1.
Absolutely not.
That looks horrible. The yawn standard.
No, the next one is.
Okay.
This is the most likely flag.
Yeah, I'd say so. That doesn't look too bad. The triple diamond flag. Oh, that looks horrible.
No. That's hysterical.
I like that one.
No.
That one kind of looked like the Federation one, an early Federation flag. Mm-hmm. That looks horrible. Oh, how patriotic is that?
Pledge allegiance to the flag,
yeah,
and to the ninja for which it stands.
There we go.
No.
In case you forgot what the Pentagon looks like, you get that flag. Hey, scientific notation works. Yep.
No.
Yep.
No. That cannot be allowed to happen.
Just think about how many jobs will happen if we have to have all these new flags. and we can mandate that they're all made in America.
Can you stop and just think about the poor American Legion? Disposing of all of the old flags?
Well,
there's a lot of flags to be disposed of.
According to Trump, global warming isn't a thing, but maybe by burning all these flags, we can create it.
Oh, that's right. You got to burn them. I forgot about that.
Yes. What do you think? They get buried at sea?
No, I just forgot that they were supposed to be burned.
And dear sweet God, this whole Paris Treaty, Paris Accord.
Oh, climate change.
Look, I listened to the speech. I read the speech. Maybe I'm stupid. Mm-hmm. But in no time did the president say he was against renewable energy. He just didn't feel like being part of a non-binding treaty that some of the participants have actually increased their pollution since signing or joining the accord. Didn't feel like that was a smart idea to be a part of. Now, I'm still trying to wrap my head around this one. Because if it is a treaty, and a non-binding one at that, but nonetheless a treaty, someone made a point that we legally, as a nation, could not enter it just by the president, at the time being Obama, saying we are entering it.
Well,
in order for us to, as a nation, to enter any treaty, it needs to be approved by Congress.
If it was a binding treaty, but it wasn't. It wasn't a treaty, it was an agreement.
So it's an agreement that nobody is following.
Right. Nobody had to follow it.
So by the president saying we are pulling out of the agreement, and everybody else in the country jumping on the bandwagon saying we are going to live by that thing. Motherfucker, you should have been living by it all along. Trump
from the August 29th,
just united us.
From the August 29th, 2016, Washington Times. The White House on Monday defended President Obama's decision to enter into the Paris Climate Accords without Senate ratification, but stopped short of confirming a Chinese report that he will do so this week during his trip to China. Still, it would surprise no one if Mr. Obama and Chinese President blah, 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 were to announce the ratification of the sweeping climate change agreement before the Sunday opening of the Group 20 and blah, blah, blah. White House senior advisor Brian Deese said the president has legal authority to ratify the accord without the two-thirds Senate vote required for treaties. He said the pact negotiated by 195 countries in December is merely an executive agreement. The president will use his authority that has been used in dozens of executive agreements in the past to join and formally deposit our instrument of acceptance and therefore put our country as part of the Paris Agreement. So there you go for it. Since it wasn't a political treaty or a military treaty, since it was an executive, agreement, he was within his rights to do, just like Trump is in his rights to then dissolve that without needing Congress or Senate approval.
Right. If he had ratified it, then he wouldn't be able to.
Yeah. Now, I understand that possibly there was a disadvantage to the U.S., us being one of the larger countries that were in this, but there were 195 different countries in it, and honestly, we do take the majority of the brunt on just about everything economically in the world. Anyway, yes. I mean, that's being the big dog has its cost. Don't get me wrong, it does, and sometimes we have to suck it up and take it. All right, now I'm not saying that's right, wrong, or whatever, all right? But I will be critical of him for this maneuver if he doesn't implement either doesn't either recommend state level and or do national level similar goals, which I don't think he's going to.
Yeah.
To accomplish the same thing. Because it's one thing to say, hey, listen, this agreement's not fair to us. It's not in our best interest. From a financial standpoint, it puts us at a disadvantage in the global market, whatever it is. All right. It's another thing to say, I don't believe in climate change. I don't give a crap what you say. We're going to start ramping up coal mining and all this other stuff, and to hell with the environment because I don't think we can affect it one way or the other. All right? Now, never has he answered the question, does he believe in climate change? He has been asked that question several times. Spicer and the other press secretaries have been asked that question and asked for him to clarify his position, and he has not done it. So, realistically, from a PR standpoint, he needs to clarify his position so that then we can either rake him over the coals and say, okay, fine, at least we know you're going to be responsible here.
Which is why he's not going to.
Yeah, which is exactly why he's not going to. But there is a little bit of hope because if you look at Hawaii, all right, they did say, hey, listen, we're going to set up local state-level laws that accomplish the same thing as what the Paris Accords did.
Yeah, California is also doing the same thing.
Yeah, so there's nothing that stops us. I agree with the people that are saying, with the Republicans that are saying there's nothing that stops us from addressing climate change. This just gets us out of the deal. It's fine. If you're going to take that stance and you're actually going to live by it, I'm good with that. All right? By the way, a little known fact that a lot of people, when they say, well, we should pull out of it and we should do this, America is also in the top 10 polluters in the world. So don't think that we're the clean people in this fight, all right? We're not the cleanest.
Right. Well, that's the fundamental problem. You can't have the big countries, like the first world countries like the United States, saying, okay, we polluted the crap out of this world. And now that we are the biggest country with all the money, now we're going to say, oh, that was a bad idea. So all of you third world country people who are trying to improve life for your people, you could do that, but you can't do it the same way we did.
Yeah.
Which is why you have stuff like the Paris Accords, so it's letting the small people still pollute for a while the big countries like the U.S. reduce theirs even more to try
and bring up the technology so that the smaller ones, I mean, it's...
Well, see, that's the thing. That's
every
where
country
the money
has
is.
Growing pains. Yeah, I mean, the money is in renewable energy and energy efficiency.
I mean, look at Tesla is making a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you look at that stuff and see what Elon Musk is doing, and he's using some of that money for SpaceX, which is also huge.
Yeah.
That is where the world is becoming better, where innovation is happening, and all the stuff that's going to make everything better for all of us is happening. And that's what I'm most afraid of.
Is that this is going to stifle that?
You're going to stifle where the money is being made for stuff that people don't want.
Yeah.
Nobody wants coal.
Well, and
natural gas is cheaper than coal, so nobody wants it. So what's the point of talking
There are
about
several coal lobbies that say, listen, Trump says this is going to bring in like 3 million jobs. There's no way that's going to happen because just like every other industry, we've automated everything.
Yes.
So, you have to find other ways. You have to find other methods of getting jobs. And not every job is going to be computers and everything, which is why I don't remember who I was looking, but I was looking at a politician of all people. It actually, seemed to make sense and said, we need to focus right now on educating people in the way of vocational training and getting people trained for the jobs that actually exist. Because there is, as Mike Rowe says, a skills gap. And I wish I could remember what politician I was looking at because I'm like, finally, somebody who actually gets it.
Okay, anything else we need to get to in the next half hour?
No. I don't think so. Well, nothing. Not that we have to get to.
I'm just saying, let's get off politics.
Yeah, let's get off politics. All right, so let's move along.
I'd say we have half an hour before we talk about movies.
Oh, yeah. And we got some good ones coming up, folks. We've got the two that we have for tonight are Mindhorn and Hello, My Name is Doris. All right. You know what? We were going to talk about this last time. I know Mike's a little bit hesitant to talk about it, but I will say none of us are interested in these whatsoever, but I think it is a comical trend right now that we should look at. Man rompers. Or romp hymns, or as I call them, onesies for adults, because that's sure what they look like.
These are, oh, God.
You know, I have a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old that come to my house every day, and they don't wear stuff that's this ugly. All right? All right. The idea is this is shirt and shorts combo in one piece. So think of like a summertime boiler suit. That's kind of what this is. All right. But I found today, Get On Fleek, the website getonfleek.com, has a whole line of colorful, interesting looking romp hymns. That's what you call it, Mike?
That's what I call it. Instead of rompers, romp hymns.
Romp hymns.
My God.
In all different kinds of, colorful styles. So you can get a knockoff Dark Side of the Moon one, if you'd like. You can get...
Now, I have an issue right off the bat. Not just with the fashion style, but with this site.
Okay.
I'm seeing 12 styles on the first page.
Yep.
They're all pre-orders.
Yes. I don't know if any of these are available currently. But I know...
Pre-order. Okay, 24. They're all... Oh, what's that?
Oh, let's see here. If we shop, I'm sure they've got other stuff which isn't... Let's look by popularity. That's always good. So, let's see here. Do we have crew? Okay, so their other clothes.
Average rating.
Their other clothes are available for purchase right now. So I would assume it's a real legit store.
Oh my God. Well, I found my favorite.
Okay. I sorted by popularity. So we've got things like a giraffe riding a shark. We've got the there we go. We'll show you Mike's.
This is my favorite.
Mike's favorite. First cat in space. Aw, his name's Klaxons. Cute. I don't know. I'm so torn here because I got, there's pepperonis. There's cat burrito, Mike. How could you not like cat burrito?
I didn't get there yet. I'm sorted different. I'm sorted by average rating.
Oh yeah. See here, look. Here's cat burrito. All right, spacey cat burrito.
Cats shouldn't eat burritos.
But $80, Mike. $80.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen in my lifetime.
I mean,
forget the fact that it's a romper. Wait a minute. Okay, I found my new favorite.
Okay. I can't wait. Oh, I think I'm going to love this one. Let's see here. Here we go. Lightning Cat. Lightning Cat. And I like this one here.
You're a wizard, Fluffy.
Ramen. Because you need to be a walking billboard for a cup of soup. Oh, yeah. So they've got a whole bunch of different ones. But I can't. These have got to be these have got to be made on demand. There's no way they have these just lying in stock. Can you imagine somebody going, "Hey, yeah, we're out of the Netflix and chill romp hymns. We need to get another order of those.
All right, so
running kind of low.
Just one more here.
Okay.
This one, I believe, is on pre-order because they're waiting to see how many stars they have to print on it.
Well, where is the Make America Great Again romping? That's what I want to know.
And listen, I got a problem with these rompers. Another problem. Look by the legs, how they kind of swoop up like that.
Yeah.
No, shorts are supposed to have legs that go straight across at the hem, not tuck up near the nutsack.
Well,
I'm just saying.
If you notice, these are obviously a Photoshop because they are
of course.
exactly the same on every one.
They're trying to make them 3D-ish, but they're failing. Especially
now, I'm all about doing digital mock-ups.
Yeah.
Right? Because obviously we do that for some of the products for Butterstown.
Yeah.
But digital mock-ups of garments like that never go well. And I've actually seen one, like I have shared on Facebook some of these sweatshirts. Like they find these, celebrities should never wear just blank sweatshirts or T-shirts out in public. Why? Because inevitably somebody is going to use that picture as a mock-up for their product.
No.
Now, I saw one that was like some kind of hooded sweatshirt, and I flat out told people, go buy this. Go buy this sweatshirt because they have figured out how to print this so that the strings go behind the graphic. If you're going to do a mock-up, do it right, people.
Mm-hmm.
Please. Well, just saying.
Mike, I found the one that you have to get. This should have been your favorite. Right there.
No.
Bacon.
No, I'm not wearing clothes with food.
Bacon.
All over it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I would just as soon wear the poop emoji one, which is stupid because it's just brown with the word poop. Or no, with the poop face.
Yeah, it's just got eyes.
Right in the middle. That's it. That's dumb as... Anyway.
I just can't believe that this is actually a thing. You know?
Yeah. I was trying to find a picture of anybody actually wearing one of these, and all I could find is a picture of them. A whole group of guys wearing them, but they're not...
Yeah.
They don't have cats on them.
Well, I mean, it was first started. It was first started by Sean Connery. I have a picture right here. The terry cloth romper.
Oh, Lord.
True, he was in it. This is nothing new, guys. This has been here for a while. Look at that. So you can't say that it's something new. All right. What else? Oh, I
okay, so just real quick, I think these are the ones here. Because I saw I saw these. These are probably the same, being made by the same company that are making those rompers. These are suits.
Okay.
I would just assume I would pay the money for one of these than one of the rompers. I'm just saying.
I'm telling you right now, some of these I think Steve Harvey buys. These are. Oh, that's slick right there. All right, we're gonna throw a couple of these up. I'm just getting them ready. That one's not too bad. I
mean, some of them are okay. They're just solid colors.
Yeah,
bright, but they're just solid colors.
Elf costumes. All right, so here we'll. And
of course, the fact that these are slim fit means that there's no chance in hell any of us are ever going to be wearing them. But
no. All right. So here we go. All right. So this one I could see Steve Harvey in. He's doing Family Feud and he's wearing this. Right now.
I could see that being worn by a Prince tribute band.
Oh yeah. All right. Here's another one. The guy from what's his name from The Fifth Element. That's got the microphone. He's wearing this to a formal dinner.
Ruby Rod.
Yes, exactly. This is his outfit. This is Trump's golf outfit. Obviously, shorts. Short sleeve suit jacket. Why was that not invented earlier? This one just looks... I mean, this is the normalest look of all of them.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, you could get away with wearing that to a wedding or something.
Oh, yeah. You want to stand out just a little bit, you know? Here, I just see a couple of hands and a face. I don't know what else they're trying to show us on this.
That is the Duck Dynasty edition.
Ah.
That's the Duck Dynasty starter kit. Notice his beard is not that long.
And this must just be inspired by the movie Elf? Is that
Perhaps.
what they're going for here?
Yes.
So, yeah.
Now, I've seen these at Kohl's. They come in a box.
Oh, I don't know. If there was one full of question marks, like the Riddler, I might look at it for my trivia nights. Just because it would be something different.
Well, wait a minute. They give out prizes at your trivia nights, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then what about the money suit?
No, not the money suit. No. For the trivia night, it's got to be question marks. It's got to be. I think it's got to be question marks, not the money suit.
Okay.
All right. So I came across this article late in the day today that has me a little worried. That is. Well, actually, let's talk about this one first because I know Mike loves this topic, and we've only got 12 minutes left before we get to get into the movie review. Former Top Gear host, now turned Grand Tour host, Richard Hammond, has evidently escaped death once again this last week. He was in a all electric vehicle, talking about saving the planet, that he lost.
Prototype, no less, if I read correctly.
He lost the back end of it going around the corner of a racetrack and rolled several times. Luckily, he was able to crawl out of the vehicle before it burst into flames. Evidently, they need to work a little bit more on that battery, I would guess, so that it doesn't explode like that. He got away with just a fractured knee. So he is fine, but it begs the question, how many lives does this man have? I mean...
Yeah, I just love the awful press coverage.
Yeah.
Like, the Sun said that he was jumped out of the car at 120 miles an hour just before it went over the cliff into a fireball. I'm like, no.
No.
If you jumped out of a car at 120 miles an hour, you would be a ex-Hammond.
Yeah. No. He was, and they're given, what's crazy is I was reading this on Yahoo today and all kinds of hate comments. I mean, tons of people going, well, too bad it wasn't Jeremy in the car. Would love to seen him burn to a crisp. And others like, well, maybe God's just telling him they should stop making the show. Sucks. Or, other ones like, serves right, those greedy bastards. And things like that. I mean, really, folks, this is what you're saying after a guy nearly died. I mean, because he really did nearly die in this thing. That car went up like crazy. I mean, you see a picture of this vehicle, and I honestly don't know how he got out and is alive because, it's amazing, the pictures of this. But he is fine. They did fly him to the hospital in Switzerland just to make sure everything would be good. But it was just, it's insane. And like I said, the comments, just people being really nasty about it. And I don't understand that because I didn't, were there things I didn't like about the Grand Tour? Sure. But overall, I thought it was a pretty good show. And they got 2 more seasons left to go. So I'm looking forward to the one starting in October.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad he's okay.
This is the same man who survived a 300-plus mile an hour rocket car rollover.
Yeah, that was worse.
Yeah, that was definitely worse.
I mean, he had brain damage for that one.
Oh yeah, he was off for a long time, and he was cutting. You know, he was in and out several times, and they weren't sure that he was going to live from that. This one, the other guys were on set, which is what makes it different. The other guys weren't on set for the previous accident. This time they were on set, and I guess it just really shook them all to the core, going, "Oh my God, we just watched our friend die," because they didn't know originally that he got out of the car,
Right.
before it burst into flames. And Jeremy, in one of his comments that he made to the press, being reserved for once, going, I was looking from the top of the hill down, and our security man is much stronger than I am because he ran down there not even thinking. He goes, I was stuck in my spot. I couldn't make myself go down there and see what I was certain was a dead man, my dead friend. And people were giving him crap about saying that. I mean, that's one of the most honest statements ever. So I couldn't take all the negativity around it. I'm glad that Richard was okay, and I'm certain this will all work out well.
Now, we from near death, we should also talk about a couple of deaths.
Oh, yes,
we should.
Pool. Oh, man.
Because
busy 2 weeks.
We had Adam West with no points awarded, which I was surprised because I had point calculations for Adam West, but no pick.
Yeah.
So somehow I don't know how he got in the list, but Adam West passed away. Peter Salas passed away.
He was in last year.
Oh, he was?
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't know if did you guys read the note from Seth MacFarlane about Adam West?
I did not.
This from Seth MacFarlane's Twitter today. Family Guy has lost its mayor, and I have lost a friend. Adam West was a joy to work with, and the kind of guy you always wanted to be around. His positivity, good nature, and sense of fun were undeniable, and it was always a big jolt of the best kind of energy when he walked in to record the show. He knew comedy, and he knew humanity. I am beyond fortunate to have had the privilege of working with him, and he will be profoundly missed by all of us. Thank you from the bottom of our heart for all that you have given, Mr. Mayor. You're irreplaceable. Very nice from him. There were several other celebrities that also tweeted out to him today. Ben Affleck being one of them, who said, basically, where was it at? I don't want to misquote him. Well, Mark Hamill said, Adam West, such a wonderful actor and so kind. I'm lucky to have worked with him and tell him how much he meant to me and millions of fans. Let's see here. I was looking for the one that he did, but I can't find it. Oh, Ben Affleck. Thank you for showing us all how it's done. That was pretty simple. But that was it. So evidently he made a pretty big impact on a lot of people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean,
since the last show we had Peter Salas, which put Dalek 1 into the lead in the death pool.
Yes.
Manuel Noriega was no points. And why am I thinking that there was another one?
I think there was. I can't remember, though. And yes, we have not updated the website yet.
No, not yet.
It will be updated.
I have been a bit busy.
Well, was Greg Allman before or after the last show? I can't remember.
Oh, we had Roger Moore.
Oh, Roger Moore. That's right.
Can't forget Roger Moore.
Yes.
Okay, so, yeah, Roger Moore and then Greg Allman.
Yes.
Which put Colin on the board.
I believe that was last time, though.
Yeah, it was. We
then
did...
Roger Moore was last time as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah, we went from having nothing to having several fairly notable ones, and it was not necessarily in points, but fairly close together. So, as always, you can check out the death pool, celebrity death pool, and see all that information. Again, we will get that updated. PTRradio.com. It's a website where you can check on that. And it won't be too much longer here in about 3, maybe 4 months, and we'll have it open for the 2018.
Oh,
I know. It's not that far away. We're halfway through 2017 already. Go figure. All right, real quick before we end here, I do want to tell you guys I came across a weird article that makes me worry a little bit for the state of medical testing. Where was it? Here we go. U.S. company wants to start trials in Latin America in a few months to try and reawaken the dead.
No.
I believe this is how several horror movies start.
This is what we all wanted to see when they announced they were going to have the spinoff Fear the Walking Dead. Instead, we got drug addict kid and a bunch of characters that nobody likes, and somehow they're getting 3 seasons out of it.
Yeah, the first attempts to bring people back from the dead are slated to start this year. BioQuark, a Philadelphia-based company, announced in late 2016 that they believe brain death is not irreversible. And CEO Ira Pastor has revealed they will soon be testing an unprecedented stem cell method on patients in an unidentified country in Latin America, confirming the details in the next few months. Now, what's crazy about this, because you might think, oh, well, they're going to start on, monkeys or mice or gerbils or hamsters. No.
Of course not.
There are no plans to test on animals. They plan to start with humans.
Well, no plans to test on animals. That means PETA's all for it.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as we're not hurting any bunnies, we're good to go.
No, instead we're just going, no, this is, man, listen. I don't like any of it.
Yeah, this is not good.
Seriously. All right, so bringing people back from the dead. This is basically a ton of different horror movies, but the biggest one would be Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And that's what I was getting at. When they announced the show Fear the Walking Dead, everybody thought, oh, we're finally going to know how this all started. And that's what everybody was watching. No. Not even close to that. We're in season 2, and it's not even on the radar. Right? Because AMC was planning on doing this shit in real life. That's why. Ridiculous, boy.
Yep.
Nothing good is going to come from this.
No.
Nothing good will come from this.
No, I
at
agree.
all.
No.
At all.
No. I
and
agree.
they're doing it in South America because if they did it in the U.S., they would have to start on animals.
Well, they
which if they did could have been the start of Planet of the Apes. Maybe bringing the apes back from the dead is what made them smart.
Initial plans were to carry out the first test in India. Days after announcing their ambitions, the plan was blocked by the Indian Council of Medical Research, urging the duo to take their trials somewhere else.
India is smart.
India said, we already got too damn many people around here. We're not going to have no corpses, too.
India said, look, we rely on death to thin the herd.
Yeah.
You're going to bring them back.
Besides that, have you smelled India? It's already horrible. You want a bunch of decomposing people there, too? That's not going to work.
You're all worried about global warming. Just think about it when nobody dies.
Oh. We're already overpopulated as it is now.
I know. They're going to bring them back so that they can send them to Mars.
Oh, yeah, that'll make great. Yeah.
And, of course, now there was a study, there was an article that said, listen, if you go to Mars, you're going to die.
Yeah, you're going to die.
Because the radiation levels may be higher than we initially thought. Just saying.
Yeah. And didn't they say the only real way to survive would be in the caves? I know they talked about living in the caves on the moon. That's
why in The Martian they had hab fabric that was designed to block radiation.
Yep.
But did you hear that they actually figured out that plants would actually be able to grow on Mars without needing to put them inside?
But isn't it too cold? I don't know. I tell you what.
I agree, but that's what they said.
Let's get Matt Damon in a spacecraft and land him there.
There's a 50-50 chance that he'll try to kill us. Because it depends on the movie.
Yeah.
Between Matt Damon and Tom Hanks, I ain't traveling with either one of them, ever. Ever.
I don't know. You got a pretty good chance of surviving with both of them if something does go wrong.
No, because they're the only... Well, Matt Damon, at least, nobody else died.
He was alone, yeah.
Tom Hanks, everybody else died.
Not in Castaway. He was the only one there.
No, on the plane.
He was plane.
On the pilot.
Well, okay, yeah.
Castaway, they died. Captain Phillips, pirates died, but I guess we don't care about them.
Yeah, no. Don't care about pirates.
Apollo 13, nobody died.
No.
No.
They just got the clap.
Greatest triumph.
Yep. I believe this will be our finest hour.
Joe versus the volcano.
That's a good movie.
Brain Cloud.
Man, I love that movie.
We should do a critical review of Joe versus the volcano. All right. It is time for our double feature movie review. It's a segment we do every show. We take two movies from the You Might Like or Netflix Recommends area and or Amazon, and we run them through our filter and let you know whether you should watch those movies as well. We rate them on a scale from puke to shnikes and everywhere in between. So this week up, two movies, one on Amazon Prime, one on Netflix. Hello, my name is Doris, and Mindhorn. And for once, back to the original, I wrote both my reviews out again. I'm back to doing it the right way, not infringing on Mike's excellent taste of how he does his.
I am going to request
that
we start with Mindhorn.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
I request that I go third.
Okay. Mike, you want to go first or second?
I will go second.
Okay.
Only because I picked Mindhorn was my suggestion. I'm going to own up to this now.
Okay, good, because that's going to answer like the first sentence in my review. All right. Mindhorn. Honestly, I don't remember who suggested this film, Mindhorn, but I think it far makes up for my recommendation of Paramedics, regardless of what reality you live in. Mindhorn is the story of an out-of-work actor known for a 70s cop drama in England. Present day, there's an alleged killer on the loose, and he'll only talk to Detective Mindhorn. By the way, did I mention the character Mindhorn is some Steve Austin ripoff who has a bionic eye, which means he can tell when someone is lying? So I'd call him the $14.99 Special Man, if he had a cooler name. Regardless, in this film, we see that, like William Shatner, this actor is only good in his original role, which he must reprise to help the police catch the suspected killer. Along the way, we learn how Mindhorn left the series and it's the trail of destruction. Okay, well, more like success. It left in his wake. In fact, the only person who didn't benefit from Mindhorn going all Hollywood was his original agent, who now lives in a caravan and enjoys day drinking and snorting coke. The movie goes on, and we learn, though, through some of the worst acting ever, the alleged killer is really innocent, and it's really the mayor who's the bad guy. Sorry, spoiler. None of this really makes any sense, and we never really get any clue of that whole arc or what it's about. The point to the film, however, is this actor's failed after failed after failed after failed attempt to get his career back on track. Now, mind you, I like British comedy. I'm a huge fan of the IT Crowd, Doctor Who, Black's Books, and many others. This, however, fails in almost every single measure of the word comedy. Honestly, Steve Guttenberg's acting in Lava Lantula was a better representation of an out-of-work actor struggling to regain his popularity. I won't recommend this movie to anyone who liked comedy, to anyone who liked British movies, or to anyone who likes breathing. This movie out and out sucks. According to IMDb, there are people who like this film, but I have to think it's just the actor's family making them feel better. For Mindhorn, I can say without a lie that it gets a puke from me. Lord help anyone who actually likes this. All right, Mike, you're up.
Oh God, and I'm going to disagree with one thing you said about William Shatner.
Okay.
Yes, he is known as Captain Kirk, and that was his defining role. However,
Are you going to say T.J. Hooker?
I was going to say he wasn't bad in T.J. Hooker, but he was the shining star in the cesspool that was Airplane 2.
Okay. I don't remember it well enough to tell you yes or no.
They're blinking and beeping and flashing. They're blinking and beeping and flashing. I'm all right. Okay. All right. So right off the bat, Mindhorn's doing capoeira. That's the fighting style you choose. It's a bad omen. That's it. And is it? I'm just curious. Is this supposed to be a parody of what Over the Hill actors that have fallen from grace are like, or is this like what they're really like? I don't know. And then I started questioning if this movie was based on the life of Bruce Willis. Now I'm thinking that this is a British version of the Three Amigos because he breaks in to steal all of his props to become his, or maybe with a splash of Anchorman. The interaction between Mindhorn and Pat DeVille, which was his female co-star when they meet later, it is kind of what I imagine a meeting between Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter would go, or Anthony Michael Hall and Ilan Mitchell-Smith. One is still famous and working. One is struggling and hoping that they will reboot the only movie that they are known for. Now I'm starting to think the guy that Mindhorn has a bit of Mogatu from Zoolander as well. He's just pulling influence from everywhere. Thought that his character was the greatest thing in the world, and he's holding on to that one little bit of fame forever. Or maybe he's like Teen Mom without the pregnancy. I don't know. I can't. The stuntman, dude with the cutoffs. Can we put the mouse back in the house, please? That guy, I want to just. Now, at this point, the irony is not lost on me that I hated Black Books, and I vetoed several other British works of cinema. And yet I picked this, the review. Not knowing that it was a British piece of shite. Nobody thinks to check the tape before they play it on the news. Par for the course with this movie. I don't understand why during the final scenes the cop lady is wearing a motorcycle outfit that has no police markings whatsoever, yet everyone recognizes her as a cop. Now we've gone to Galaxy Quest with the man giving a speech that I'm not really Mindhorn. I'm not the hero. He's pulling a Peter Quincy Taggart from. Look, okay, I don't have a whole lot more notes on this, so I'm just going to be straight up puke. This is like pie eating scene from Stand By Me puke. All over the place, covering everything puke. Netflix canceled Sense8, but then puts crap like this out. And this wasn't even an Adam Sandler movie. This was executive produced by Ridley frickin' Scott.
Yes.
So this gets beyond a puke now, okay? No more Netflix originals ever. New rule. Between this and an MST3K reboot, Netflix can eat a bag of dicks with a side of bungholes, okay? I'm done. Sorry. The only thing that would have made this even worse is if Adam Sandler was attached to it somehow. Or if somebody made shoes in the movie. Even though I like the cobbler. Go ahead, Colin.
Okay, so watching Mindhorn, it occurred to me very quickly, this must be what it's like for Mike the Ape Man watching British stuff. This must be the feeling. Because this is awful. This is like nothing good about British comedy is in this thing. And everything bad is all it has. But a couple comments. It took them forever to actually get to anything Mindhorn related. This is not what I expected when this thing first showed up. As hey, how about this one? I looked at the pictures from Netflix, and it looked interesting. So even more so, Netflix should be skewered for its terrible, terrible marketing of not giving us what they said that they're going to give us. There is another British sitcom. It's a recent one. I don't think Shaggy has seen it. It's called Toast of London. And it stars Matt Berry, the second boss for IT Crowd. So the boss who is the son of the first guy who killed himself.
No.
So there is this entire Britcom called Toast of London, starring Matt Berry, where he plays a washed-up actor. And it deals with all the stupid things he has to do, the weird plays he has to be in, and the voiceover work, and his agent. And it's everything that half this movie Mindhorn wanted to be and failed at. The only scene in this movie I liked was the earliest scene where he's with his agent. And it has the actor from Amadeus making fun of him, listening to him talk, That part was the only humorous part of the entire movie as far as I was concerned. I will give this a puke. However, I did realize something. This movie could have been salvageable. I want to know what you two think. Okay?
All right.
The biggest problem with this movie is that it is not believable in the past. Okay? This guy was always a buffoon. So the footage they show of the original Mindhorn show, it just doesn't work. Okay? What if they had shot this with a different actor, an actor who actually was in one of those 80s era shows like this?
I can't even imagine it being a good movie. It was so bad.
Imagine this movie starring David Hasselhoff. Everything. I mean, there's a lot of changes they would have had to make because Hasselhoff was there, but this could have at least gotten up to meh.
I don't know. It's tough. That's tough.
Yeah. It's I have no. How the hell do they get Kenneth Branagh in this movie? I do not understand.
I don't know. All right, so that's Mindhorn. Up next, Amazon Prime. Hello, my name is Doris. 2015 film. Who wants to go first? I don't care if I do or if you guys one of you two want to take over first.
No, I definitely cannot go first. Or
okay,
just go.
I'll go ahead.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So Shaggy picked this one, and look. Full page, okay?
Wow.
Full page of notes. So I'm just going to jump right into this here.
Yeah.
And, it's funny. One of the previous movies we reviewed, somebody on Facebook was talking about Turbo Boy. Turbo Kid?
Turbo Kid. Yeah.
And I pointed him to the episode where we reviewed Turbo Kid. And I got yelled at for not pointing out that it was spoiler heavy. That spoiler heavy, Jesus! The entire review is a whole spoiler. But I'm sorry, that just proves you've never listened to us review movies. So
yeah,
let's just get this out of the way. Spoiler alert.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So nothing like family getting on someone's case at a wake. That is so sad, but so true. If they tried to replace my chair at work with a big bouncy ball, I would beat the ever-loving hell out of someone. I would kick them so hard, Google Maps wouldn't be able to locate them. Then I'd kick that ball right along with them. She's using the old "my ball is flat" trick. Last time I tried that, I got smacked across the face. Now she used the "let me spill Covife on you" trick to get his shirt off. Last time I tried that, I never tried that one. I had never been that drunk, but it did happen in Fantasyland once, right after the Busty Pizza delivery girl showed up. But that's for another time. I love the catfishing by the old lady with the teenage accomplice. And it's cute when an old person does it, as long as they're both of legal age. None of this Mary Kay Letourneau stuff, because that'll get you in trouble. When did Nichols from Orange is the New Black show up? The star power in this movie just went up half a point. The 2 pairs of glasses when she's trying to read anything is killing me here. Now the family's pressuring her for a cut of the house. That's just pathetic, and sadly, it's all too real. I have to say that I literally laughed out loud at the concert scene. I have not literally laughed out loud at a movie since I watched one of the Tracy Morgan stand-up. Now I'm starting to get nervous that this movie is going to have some major heartbreak. And no. Caroline from Two Broke Girls, get out of here. You cannot be the one to steal Doris's man. No. And now Doris is the third wheel. Is a rooftop knitting circle? Okay. Drunk Facebooking is never a good idea. I'm just saying. Please don't hit post. Please don't hit post. Ah, shit. Doris hit post. Now we're in an episode of Hoarders. I've watched enough to know that the 3 piles thing never works. Give it 5 minutes before Doris loses her... and where's the 1-800-GOT-JUNK guys to help her clear everything out? Because there's always 1-800-GOT-JUNK. And there's always one relative that pushes too... This seriously was an episode of Hoarders. There's always one relative that pushes too hard and then the other one tries to be civil, but is actually the root cause of all the issues. See, this is why when Caroline shows up at the office and cause a scene, this is why I'm glad I work in a location that has secure access. Bitches can't just show up and cause a scene. Explain to me why the pocket on his sweater is sideways. What's the point of having a pocket then? Now John's going to try and hook Doris up with his uncle. This is not going to go well. Doris is not a good drunk. It just dawned on me that this is the closest thing to a real movie we have ever reviewed since Sharknado 4. There's the heartbreak. You shut up. I'm not crying. You're crying. Shut up. decluttering always works better with friends, not the family that's pushing you to do it. Puke to Schnikes. This gets a Schnikes. It was easily and by far the best movie that we have ever reviewed. I know it's kind of campy and cheesy at points, but the storyline was one that could actually happen. It's got just the right amount of funny, real, sad, and crazy. And I'm almost scared to say this, but if you like any of the Nicholas Sparks movies, you're going to love this one.
All right.
Greggy?
I'll do mine next. This movie came to the front of the line after listening to my wife complain that we never pick movies for review that she could watch. So in an effort to find something that the gals could enjoy, enter Sally Fields in her newest film, Hello, My Name is Doris. Hot on the heels of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Fields plays the quirky Doris, an aging woman who is alone now that her mother has died, leaving her in her childhood home filled with their collectibles. Soon after the funeral scene, we see Doris run into a new hot young hunk at her office, and a budding infatuation is started. Max Greenfield plays John, the young object of Doris's affection. Doris, being a romance novel fan, has several daydream sequences reminiscent of Walter Mitty, full of steamy action resulting in funny scenes when others see her tune out of reality. We then meet Doris's best friend and confidant, Rose, played by Tyne Daly, whose granddaughter instructs Doris in the new ways of digital stalking. We then get a great example of how a true stalker would research their prey and become entrenched in everything they do. We get entertained by the hilarious juxtaposition of this elderly woman into the young hipster lifestyle of electronic music, healing sage ceremonies, and much more. During this one-sided love exploration, we also learn that Doris is a hoarder who has issues with her brother's lack of involvement previously with their mother. This is made evident even more so after Doris learns that her would-be hunk already has a gal pal and she's not it. This revelation results in a drunken night of Facebook followed by a terrible next morning confrontation with her brother. Mixed into this interpersonal turmoil is the sister-in-law with zero compassion and a doctor who, from what it appears, actually cares, which is a nice change from what I've seen in most movies. Jump forward to Roz and Doris then having a falling out because while Roz was initially supportive, her outlook on the relationship turns sour when Doris decides to skip their Thanksgiving dinner to go to John's instead. This results in an epic screaming match where we learn about the expectations of duck sauce. While at the Thanksgiving dinner, Doris then confronts John about her feelings. We get a rebuff and a dose of humiliation and true sadness for Doris. This scene, I believe, is one of Fields' best performances. Your heart really goes out to this woman who you know had her heart set on this man, and all her hopes and dreams were crushed in mere moments. You then see the strength of a friendship when Roz comes to her aid to comfort her during her hour of need, and you see these ladies have been through hell together and will always be there for each other. Doris next has an epiphany and turns her life around in all senses of the word. Cleaning house and cleaning her spirit, she starts a new life, and you can see in her face that she knows that her old life was never good for her, and to truly live, she needs to make changes. It's only at the end of the movie where we see her start to get this confidence that she was striving for the whole movie. Then, with a final Walter Mitty-style daydream, we see that maybe Dream World and the real world might finally collide. But with a quick fade-out, we'll never truly know. It was refreshing to be watching a movie where you honestly were invested in the character and watching her go through this journey. It should be easy to make a good movie with a great script, but with these actors, they make it look effortless. Fields obviously steals the show with her amazing portrayal of Doris, with Greenfield playing opposite. But just as noteworthy are Stephen Root, Tyne Daly, and Isabella Akers. Really a stellar cast with a story that you can't help but get sucked into. It's everything you want in a good date night movie. For this reason, and the fact that my wife liked it as well, it gets a solid smile from me. I'm really picky about my Schnikes. So, gets a good smile. Although I will tell you, the wife was highly upset about that quick fade out at the end.
Oh,
she's like, what?
Yeah,
What?
wow.
What do you mean we don't know what happens? I want to know.
Make it up. That's the point. Whatever happens is whatever you want to happen.
Yeah. So, all right, Colin, your turn.
Okay, so this is the first real movie that we've seen. Just a little background. They had a budget of $1 million. Now, we've seen
Pretty cheap.
really bad movies with larger budgets than that.
I think A Talking Cat had a bigger budget than that.
I think so. It is made, as of the 22nd of July 2016, $14.4 million.
Wow, it should have a sequel.
No, because that would destroy the...
I know it would, but that's the way the studio thinks, though, is,
So-
hey...
This was a real movie with real actors. And I couldn't bring myself to actually come up with any funny things to do with it because, well, it's not that funny a movie. There's nothing funny about it. It's just it's a real movie. Now, Shaggy already knows this. I decided, after thinking about this a lot, my official rating for Hello, My Name is Doris is disqualified.
Really?
I'm disqualifying it because it is not a bad movie. I'm just not sure how a real movie can fit on a puke to schnikey scale. You know, I look at it as a scale of bad movies, and Schnikey's is a bad movie that I loved. And this is just a movie. I mean, I might as well try to put Star Wars on the puke to schnikey scale. What's the point?
Well, that's fair enough.
But,
And that's fair. I think the only reason we really went through this, well, for me personally, I didn't expect this movie to be as good as it was.
Well, no.
83% on the Rotten Tomatoes.
And really, it was one of those, hey, you might like.
Yeah.
I didn't see this movie any other way other than Amazon recommended.
I think it was an interesting thing having a good movie on for once.
Oh, it was such a nice, refreshing change.
Well, that's just it. We've had so many absolutely terrible movies that made us want to gouge our eyes out with pencils, not even lead pencils, mechanical pencils.
Yeah. For the
that
women
we
in my
owed
family,
ourselves this.
Yeah.
This is right up for them. I mean, the director of this actually directed one of the episodes of Grace and Frankie, which is another huge show liked by my...
Yeah, and Mama Gail pointed out that Doris is on the Kindle to watch on the flight to the UK.
Yep.
So.
And this one also came through here. Would like to know, welcome suggestions on what other movies to load to watch on long flights.
Oh, we can tell you movies.
We are the ones.
We can tell you what movies to make it seem like a longer flight.
Yeah,
we are. Oh, good Lord, isn't this movie over yet?
We are not ones to. Now, with that said, do they have to be movies that are available only on Amazon?
Yeah, they'd have to be either Amazon download or Netflix download, I would think.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
Although now Plex can do download, too.
Yes. That actually has been able to download for a long time.
Yeah, so.
So I wasn't sure if it was just suggestions on movies that you may or may not have seen.
I'll tell you a movie that she probably won't watch again because it made her sick is I took one of our other new toys, which is a little Gear 360 camera.
That's not one of our new toys. That's your new toy.
It's one of my new toys, which is amazingly small. I didn't figure it would be this tiny.
Yeah, that is much, much smaller.
And I filmed an episode of On the Road Again with Shaggy, and according to Mama Blair, it made her car sick. Watching a video on YouTube made her car sick.
Oh, she drives.
So, yeah.
She always drives. If she doesn't drive, she's car sick. So watching somebody else drive was probably just as bad.
Yeah. Well, especially when you could turn it around and see everywhere. It wasn't like normal where it was just pointed at me.
The reason I asked that question was one of the things that was on our list is a movie that I loved, and I asked if you guys had seen it. I didn't know if you have or not. It's a movie called Snowpiercer.
Yes. In fact, have you heard they're making a series?
Yes, that was one of the articles that I put up, that TNT is making a pilot, and Jennifer Connelly has signed on to be in the pilot for a series based on Snowpiercer. And my thought was, I don't understand how this could be a a full-on TV series. If you've seen the movie, you'll understand what I'm talking about. I could see it being like a mini event.
I think that's going to take a longer period of time to make their way up to the front of the train.
I just don't. To me, that.
Well, you change the plot. I mean, you change what's going to be in the engine from the movie. But the basic idea of this train, and you're going from the back of the train to the front of the train and meeting different people as you go, I can see it. If you take the basic idea and not the exact plot.
Yeah. I mean, as the train being the only speck of known humanity on Earth, okay. But to me, it's more of a kind of Ascension type miniseries event.
Yep.
Not a full-blown TV series. I just have this bad feeling it's going to get canceled after like 4 episodes, and they're going to just outlet the rest of them online. And I just want to talk about one other thing here. Do either of you guys watch the show 12 Monkeys on Sci-Fi?
No.
It's one of those things I've always meant to get to, but I haven't.
All right, so it's based on the movie, obviously, but it's kind of been canceled. They're doing one more season to wrap up, but the last season that they just released, instead of doing a weekly, they did a weekend event where they did 4 episodes Friday night, 4 episodes Saturday night, and then 3 episodes Sunday night. All in the same weekend, all the same series, wrapped up, done, nice little bow. And now they're going to have the final, I guess, half season to actually wrap up the story. But I was a little surprised that network seems to be jumping on the whole bingeability bandwagon here.
Well, I think it's I think it kind of is the way that everyone is really going. I mean, although there was an article out that says, is binge watching bad for you?
No.
And I think overall it was agreed that it was.
Yeah, and kudos to Netflix, because now not only do they start the next episode for you automatically in like Orange and New Black, but then they also put a button up there that you can skip the intro.
Yeah, they're trialing that. That's not available necessarily to everybody or on every show, but on select shows and select customers. And because it was on for a while last month, then it was off, then it was back on, then it was off. So I think it really kind of depends what you're watching and everything.
Yeah, it kind of depends on the show. Like I think
because I could do it with some of the Futurama ones, and then I know I could do it with the Iron Fist. It let me do it on Iron Fist, but it wouldn't let me do it on other ones.
Let me do it with House of Cards, and let me do it with Orange is the New Black.
See, I disagree. I would disagree with House of Cards, because I've always found that opening music and those scenes really help get me in the zone for House of Cards. And even if I'm watching it episode after episode after episode, it kind of resets. I don't know. I think I'd still watch that one. I like theme songs. So. Yeah. Robot Overlords. That looks.
Oh yeah, that was on the list at one point. That's part of a trilogy. But yeah. Okay, so I mean that pretty much handles it for this week.
Yep. Yeah, we just need to figure out what to watch for next time.
So. You've been listening to PTR Radio here on the fabulous interweb. We want to thank you for tuning in. Don't forget, subscribe to the podcast. Get the feed automatically delivered to your phone. Just visit ptrradio.com for the link on how to subscribe to that. Also, if you would, do us a favor, review us, rate us on iTunes, Stitcher, the Google Play Store, wherever you get us. That really helps boost us up in the rankings and lets other people find us. So not only by you spreading the word, but hopefully by finding us then in other directories, we can get a larger audience. We always want to get as big of an audience as possible. And it's only through you guys listening, watching the show, and telling everybody about it that can happen. As always, PTRradio.com is the source for everything. Facebook, Twitter, PTR Radio. Instagram, PTR Radio. You notice the theme here. It's PTR Radio. As also, don't forget, you can call, leave a message on our listener line, 877-787-8822. If we don't get to you when we're on live, we'll always play it on the next show. So you can always leave a message for us, and we'll get back to you. With that said, our next show is going to be on the 26th right now. Tentatively scheduled for the 26th. So we will, barring any changes in schedule, we will see you then. 7 p.m. Eastern, as always. So, anybody else got anything else? Special appearances coming up anytime soon?
I'll be at the New Beginnings Animal Rescue's 6th annual golf outing tomorrow. 94 degrees.
That's right. Don't forget, bring your autograph book. Have Mike sign it for you.
Yeah.
So, all right. With that said, folks, we're out of here. Stick a fork in us because we are done. Later.